So in maybe previous session, what we saw is how to maybe write algorithms. Okay. To be precise, we were looking into the building part of machine learning models. Okay. So we built some of the machine learning models. Okay. Uh, some were inbuilt and some were maybe our custom like MXNet and TensorFlow we used for that purpose. Okay. So what we did, we built some of the models in the previous session. Now what we will do, now it's time to see the training side. Okay, so we have built the model. Now we will train those models. Okay, so what we will do in this session is we will train those machine learning model which were made in the previous section for cancer detection. Okay, so what if I'll try to give you a bird eye view for this maybe training cycle. So there we have to create a training job in Sagemaker. Then we have to maybe monitor and analyze these training jobs, and then we have to improve this training model using automatic hyperparameter tuning. We have to understand how automatic hyperparameter optimization is going taking place, and how by using automatic parameter optimization we can improve our training models. Okay, then we will be creating some of the training jobs in SageMaker that I have discussed maybe, and what more? Monitoring, monitoring and analyzing. Okay, three things you have to keep in your head: how to create training job, maybe in training part, and how to monitor and analyze training jobs. Okay, so these things you have to keep in your mind. Okay, so. Uh, what is a training job, you might be thinking. So to train a model in AWS SageMaker, one have to create a training job. Okay, so you have to create one training job if you really want to train a model in AWS SageMaker. So we have built the model. Okay, model building part is over. Now to train them we need training job. Okay, that's called the jargon which is used in AWS SageMaker, that is training job. Okay, so we have to prepare training job, but not that much, because we have done some of the part of the training job in our maybe model building part. Okay, how? Let me explain you. We were having some of the training job configurations like URL of S3 bucket containing training data. Then we have compute resources for training. Then we have URL of S3 bucket where job output will be stored. Then we are having elastic containers registry for training code. So we have already configured all these parameters while we were building our uh, model, and that's the part of maybe pass some modules. Okay, so we have specified over there all these things, so we need not to maybe do those things again. We need not to reinvent the wheel again. We will continue from there, and now I will maybe discuss some of the point on monitoring and analyzing the training jobs. Okay, so we have to monitor and analyze the training job progress. Okay, so what is going on? Is this overfitting? Is that model is overfitting or underfitting kind of stuff? Okay, so in what happens in SageMaker is so a training job can be measured by using CloudWatch. Okay, so how CloudWatch is responsible for maybe measuring or seeing the training jobs in SageMaker. Let's get into it. Okay, so what happens is CloudWatch collects the raw data from training job and process it into readable, maybe readable format. Okay, and it can maybe collect CloudWatch can collect uh, maybe raw data in real time matrices. Okay, so it can change the data into real-time matrices. It can collect the real-time data and then change it to the real-time matrices. CloudWatch can do both things. Okay, so states can be seen up to 15 months. Okay, so there will be different states. States mean I mean to say, like, you are having some matrices for a single model, then there will be a state for it, and then for other model there will be a different state. Okay, so what will happen if all the maybe readable matrices will be seen up to 15 months. Okay, after 15 months those will vanish by themselves. Okay, so let me define the training job. Uh, uh, Maybe I want to go into 1,000 feet dive inside the training job, and training job includes many of the part. Some of the part I will discuss, like it will have some iterative processes. Okay, it will compute several matrices. Okay, and what these matrices will help us in. These matrices help us to know whether the model will generalize well or it will not generalize well. By generalization, I mean whether the model is able to find a sweet point between overfitting and underfitting. Okay, then we have training algorithm. Okay, training algorithm values and training algorithm matrices. Okay, then we have different logs for it. Okay, so training algorithm matrices will have logs. Okay, every training algorithm writes its matrices values in the form of logs. This is what I want to say. Okay, so what Sagemaker does is Sagemaker monitors these logs, and Sagemaker sends these log to AWS CloudWatch in real time. That's how CloudWatch collects these raw data. Who is sending the raw data? That SageMaker is sending the raw data, and how it is sending the raw data in the form of logs, and how those logs are being generated. These logs are being generated by your training algorithm, which is writing its matrices and everything in the form of logs. Okay, so those logs are being given to SageMaker. SageMaker is monitoring those logs and sending them to AWS CloudWatch in real time. Okay. Now what CloudWatch does? CloudWatch collects those raw data from training job and process it into maybe readable form. Okay. So CloudWatch processes these logs. This is what I have told you. And then while processing, it extracts matrices and it creates graph one by one. Okay, and then one question you might be thinking that how SageMaker knows which log to maybe send to the CloudWatch. Okay, so because there will be a plethora of logs, so how SageMaker will understand which log to send? This is not a big deal for SageMaker. The rule is simple. Anything anything an algorithm contains sends to maybe std out or std dir or maybe std derr will also be sent to AWS CloudWatch logs. Okay, so anything which an algorithm will contain. Okay, and it will send to std out or std err, that will automatically be sent to AWS cloud watch logs. Okay, so that's how SageMaker knows which log to send. Okay, it totally depends upon the algorithm. Okay, so whatsoever logs the algorithm sends to std out and std der, same logs will be sent to AWS CloudWatch logs. Okay, that's the thing. Then I want to maybe uh, uh, talk like maybe give you some of the points on training instances. uh, in training instances, what do I mean by training instances? These are where our training jobs executes. Okay, those are called training instances. So training instances reports their own matrices. Okay, uh, training instances can report their own matrices too. And what are those own matrices? The matrices associated with training instances can be CPU utilization, or it may be the memory utilization matrix. It may be the uh, uh, GPU memory utilization, or maybe CPU utilization, or maybe disk utilization. These are the matrices which are based on training instances, and these are reported by their maybe these are reported by using their own matrices like CPU utilization, memory utilization, and all these things. Okay, so Now you might be thinking like what matrices will be reported by built-in image classification algorithm, which maybe we defined in our building process. Okay, algorithm building process. The process we took before this training. Okay, so you might be thinking what matrices are responsible for building uh, uh, image classification algorithm, and that to built-in image classification algorithm. So there will be two matrices, one will be training and one will be validation accuracy. Okay, these two matrices are maybe reported by built-in image classification algorithm. Okay, and now you might be thinking like what matrices are then reported by a custom TensorFlow or MXNet algorithm which we have made in the building part. So these matrices are defined when we configure estimators. Okay, so we have not included anything about matrices so far. We'll include about matrices. I'm really sorry. We'll include about matrices in this section, in the training section, and maybe we'll include it right now. Okay, so I guess this is all about the training machine learning module starting point. After that, maybe we will directly go to our code section and we will try to maybe uh, we will make our hands dirty while coding. Okay, so this is all for maybe this introduction to training machine learning models. Okay.